A few days after my high school graduation, I moved with my mom and younger brother from Portland, Oregon to Independence, Missouri. My mom and brother moved into an apartment, and for the next 3 years, I lived with my grandparents and my great-grandma. It was a critical time in my development, and my grandma became an important mentor in my life. Grandma helped me find my first job, which was at the bank where she had retired years earlier. She taught me how to write a check, balance my checkbook, and set up a budget. Many times I found her sitting at her desk working on her budget, placing money in various envelopes, some designated for bills, savings, entertainment, and tithing. She was a generous disciple, opening her home to those in need, offering her gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Her influence on my life set me on a path of working full-time for the church, committing my life to the mission of Christ. Words of counsel presented at the 2013 World Conference by President Steve Veazey include the following statements. Continue to align your priorities with local and worldwide church efforts to move the initiatives forward. Additional innovative approaches to coordinating congregational life and supporting groups of disciples and seekers are needed to address mission opportunities in a changing world. Free the full capacity of Christ's mission through generosity that imitates God's generosity. Discover deep joy in life's meaning by promoting divine purposes on earth. Listen to the testimonies of those who are responding and follow your soul's yearning to come home to God's grace and generosity. Tithing is a spiritual practice that demonstrates willingness to regularly offer every dimension of one's life to God. Listen to the testimonies of those who are responding. Offer every dimension of one's life to God. My grandma's life was a testimony of grace and generosity. Our mission initiative to develop disciples to serve states that we are poised to equip men, women, and children to be true and living expressions of the life, ministry, and continuing presence of Christ in the world. The church provides many resources through its ministers and leaders, events, Christian education, reunion materials, priesthood education, to name just a few. These resources assist each of us to grow in our discipleship. My 4-year-old grandson is excited to share in the offering, to place his coins in the offering plate. During a recent Disciples Generous Response, I watched as his mother showed him the Jack and Jen kids envelope, and he listened quietly as she read the options for where he could place his quarter. He thought for a few moments and made his selection. He placed his coin in the envelope and licked it closed. Then he quietly slipped off the pew where he was sitting and stood in the aisle. With a big smile on his face, he anxiously waited for the usher to get to his row so he could place the envelope in the plate. His eagerness is an example to me of being a joyful and generous giver. There are numerous children and youth in the world who need mentors and role models and opportunities to grow and reach their full potential. Grandma was my mentor. Whether she realized it or not, she was developing me, equipping me for service as a follower of Christ. I want my life to be a positive example for my grandson. Does he see that I'm a joyful giver? How are my decisions and my response affecting his life? I'm challenged by our call to share Christ's peace. My response includes offering my tithing so that the church can expand its ministries, develop disciples to serve, and fulfill God's ultimate vision. What is your story? What is important enough to give your life to and for? Who are you mentoring? Whether intentional or not, your response is a witness to others. How will you respond this day?